when you feel the misalignment or the difficult ask of dollars versus purpose, how do you manage these situations as an organization? And how the sector has evolved to understand, and how the state and the Commonwealth is dealing with that, misalignment?
I mean, I've worked in, sort of coming back to your last point, first of all, around sort of state and national funding. I know I've worked in projects in both areas and received funding in different areas and organisations, and they have often been misaligned, or there's been a duplication in the asks from those funding pools, and more working together would make such a massive difference for the NGO sector as a whole, to really target where that funding needs to be. From the point of working with, as a for-purpose organisation, and how we adapt and look at sustainability and work around the funding requirements, like any other NGO, we're always looking for other funding. But I guess we have a very sort of core purpose as an organisation, and our mission is to raise awareness of alcohol-exposed pregnancies. It is to support families who are impacted by fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, and individuals as well. And to really, you're held accountable when you work for a grassroots organisation, because your supporters, your stakeholders, they're not shareholders. This is their lives. So you're constantly being held accountable for being able to really drive the mission and be able to support them in the journeys that they're on. And so I guess, you're always in that space of needing to be able to drive change and support change.
But, and then, following up on the same conversation, yes, you are held responsible, but if there's a challenge of, the funding to support all those activities, how would you be, so it's a double whammy, you are at one stage, yes, you are held responsible to push the envelope and talk about it and inform people and then try to have some tangible action on the ground. But if there is no enough support or resources, how would you end up? So that's the double whammy of, being on both sides. How do you manage as an organization and an individual manage that kind of a gap?
Yeah, and I think it's a challenge, isn't it? It's a challenge for everybody across all sectors, and particularly when the area you work in, as you say, crosses over so many different sectors. It's as if there is no one sector that's responsible, if you like, for carrying that torch. And therefore that constant raising of awareness that's been happening for more than 20 years plus in Australia, certainly, and around the world. And as an organisation for ourselves, if I speak for us, we've got a very lean model in terms of how we operate. We have staff around the country, but we work from home. So we worked from home before it was trendy to work from home in the COVID times. So that's actually, not necessarily been too hardship for us. But we outsource services to specialists. So things like higher IT and finance, goes out externally, so that we don't have that sort of staff-based need to continually carry. We've got really strong governance, and the relationships that we have with contractors and staff are really nurtured, and the relationships with our lived experience supporters. We have a policy around making sure that lived experience members are paid for their time, and really investing in that is essential. It's trying to stay as lean as possible. And as a small organisation, we're not paid in the space for advocacy, but that's something we do all of the time. And I think being able to sort of work with larger organisations, which is what we do a lot, to align our mission. There's a large campaign that's happening nationally at the moment to raise awareness of the risks of drinking alcohol during pregnancy and when planning a pregnancy and breastfeeding as well. And we're part of that campaign to make sure that we're really helping to raise awareness more nationally as well.